Welcome to Emma's English. Welcome back to Emma's English Talk, your daily channel for mastering real-world English. I'm your host, Emma. Today we're going to watch and listen to a conversation about the emotional roller coaster and universal struggles of assembling flat-pack furniture at home. First, just sit back, relax, and try to catch as much as you can. Don't worry if you miss a few words. We will break down the key vocabulary in our word tour later in the video. Ready? Let's dive into the dialogue. I stared at the giant cardboard box in my living room for 3 days before I finally found the courage to open it.
Let me guess. You bought another bookshelf that requires an engineering degree to put together.
Exactly. And the worst part is that I convinced myself in the store that it would be a fun weekend project.
We always fall into that trap, thinking we are expert builders just because the display model looked so elegant and simple.
But then you open the box and hundreds of tiny wooden pegs and mysterious screws just spill out onto the floor.
And the instruction manual never has any words, just those little cartoon figures that look far too happy about building a cabinet.
I genuinely think deciphering those wordless diagrams is a completely separate life skill that they never teach you in school.
I usually start off very confident, sorting all the pieces into neat little piles, like a true professional.
Oh, I skip the sorting entirely and just dive right in, which probably explains why I always have to take it apart halfway through.
Taking it apart because you put one piece in backward is the most demoralizing feeling in the world.
It really is, especially when you realize the finished side of the wood is facing the wall and the ugly particle board is facing the room.
I did that with a TV stand last year, and I was so frustrated I just left it like that for 6 months.
That is the ultimate defeat, just accepting that your furniture is going to be permanently flawed because you ran out of patience.
Sometimes it feels like these companies intentionally throw in extra screws just to mess with our minds.
Having 3 screws left over at the end of the project is terrifying because you constantly wonder if the whole thing is going to collapse.
You gently push it, praying it does not wobble, and convince yourself that those pieces were definitely just spares.
It is a massive relief when it finally stands on its own, though, even if it leans slightly to the left.
The sense of accomplishment is undeniable. You suddenly feel incredibly proud, as if you chopped down the tree and carved the wood yourself.
That rush of pride is exactly why we keep going back to buy more flat-pack furniture, completely forgetting the trauma of the previous build.
It is a weird cycle, but you also cannot beat the price, which makes the whole ordeal feel somewhat justified.
True, paying for pre-assembled furniture feels like a luxury now, even though it would save us so much time and sanity.
I tried to hire someone to assemble a bed frame for me once, but the assembly cost more than the bed itself.
At that point, you just have to roll up your sleeves and accept that your Saturday afternoon is going to be spent twisting a tiny Allen wrench.
My fingers actually start to cramp, just thinking about those little L-shaped wrenches.
I always promise myself I will buy a proper set of tools, but I never do. So I just suffer with the tiny wrench provided in the box.
There is a unique bonding experience in building it with someone else, though it can also test the strength of a relationship.
Building furniture together is the ultimate relationship test because the communication breakdown happens almost immediately when you are holding up a heavy board.
One person is yelling to hold it steady, and the other is frantically searching for the missing wooden dowel that rolled under the couch.
I built a wardrobe with my sister last summer, and we did not speak to each other for a full day afterward.
It gets so heated, especially when you are both exhausted, covered in cardboard dust, and surrounded by packing peanuts.
And then you have the massive pile of empty boxes to deal with, which somehow takes up more space than the actual furniture.
Breaking down those thick cardboard boxes is practically a workout on its own, and it never fits in the recycling bin.
I usually end up stomping on the boxes in the garage, trying to flatten them enough to haul away.
But at the end of the day, when you put your books on that new shelf, you feel a strange ownership over it.
You appreciate it much more than something you just bought whole, because your sweat and tears are literally built into its foundation.
I suppose that is the hidden magic of doing it yourself. It forces you to slow down and work with your hands.
Even if the final result is slightly wonky, it has character, and it tells a story of your perseverance.
Next time I buy a desk, though, I am definitely inviting you over to help me decipher the manual.
I would be happy to help, as long as you provide plenty of coffee and promise not to yell when I put a drawer in backward.
That sounds like a fair deal. I will handle the tiny screws, and you can be the chief diagram interpreter.
I accept the role, but I am bringing my own electric screwdriver this time to save us both from the dreaded hand cramps.
An electric screwdriver changes the game completely. It makes you feel unstoppable, until you accidentally strip the head of the screw.
That is exactly why you have to be careful and not get too carried away with the power tools on cheap wood.
The stakes are surprisingly high, but I guess that makes the victory of a fully functioning piece of furniture that much sweeter.
It really does, and it reminds us that we are capable of figuring out difficult things, one confusing instruction page at a time.
I will keep that optimistic thought in mind the next time I am sitting on the floor surrounded by 30 identical metal brackets.
Just remember to count your screws before you start, take deep breaths, and never ignore the leftover pieces entirely.
Wise words to live by, especially for anyone brave enough to tackle a weekend home improvement project.
Now, if you will excuse me, I need to go figure out why my new bookshelf is wobbling every time a truck drives by outside.
Good luck with that. Maybe you can just shove one of those folded up cardboard scraps under the shortest leg to balance it out.
That is my signature move. The cardboard shim is truly the unsung hero of the flat pack furniture world. Welcome to the Word Tour. It's Emma here. Let's take a quick look at some of the useful vocabulary and idioms from our chat today. First up is the term flat pack furniture. This refers to furniture that you buy in pieces packed inside a flat box, which you then have to assemble yourself at home. It is very common at stores like IKEA. Next, I mentioned that instead of sorting my pieces, I like to dive right in. This idiom means to start doing something immediately and with enthusiasm without overthinking it or hesitating. Tom then described the feeling of making a mistake halfway through as demoralizing. When an experience is demoralizing, it makes you lose your hope, courage, or confidence. Later, I said that sometimes you just have to roll up your sleeves. While this literally means folding the ends of your shirt up, as an idiom, it means preparing to do hard or difficult work. Tom also joked that companies put extra screws in the box to mess with our minds. To mess with someone's mind means to deliberately confuse them, trick them, or make them doubt themselves. Finally, I warned about not getting carried away with power tools. If you get carried away, you lose your self-control or do something too eagerly because of strong emotions. I hope these explanations help you use these natural English phrases in your own daily life. Great job today! Listening to natural English like this is the best way to improve your skills. Remember, you can download the free PDF script for today's episode from the link in the description below. It's perfect for reviewing the dialogue and practicing the vocabulary we learned. If you enjoyed this lesson, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Thanks for listening and keep up the great work. See you next time!